OnePlus phones are pretty famous, especially in India, but right now I think OnePlus as a company has changed a lot. They do still make great phones, but then are they really attractive like the old OnePlus phones? Well, this video is about the OnePlus 8T, which was launched in October 2020, which makes it like an almost 4-month-old device. And hence there is the big question, which is whether it's a good option to buy the OnePlus 8T right now. And straight away, I'm gonna say right now it's better to hold from buying the 8T because plenty of phones are launching, and also OnePlus's very own next generation phones, which maybe the OnePlus 9 series will launch soon, and then the price of the 8T may go down, or maybe the OnePlus 9 series phones will be better phones than this at the same price. And here for this video, this is the verdict, but still you might be interested to know more about the 8T in depth, especially on a long-term basis. And what I feel about the 8T is that the 8T is almost a pure OnePlus phone. So from that, what I mean is that this phone has all the great things that a OnePlus phone usually have, and about the flaws, they are the usual stuff and maybe some extras which we are getting familiar with the new gen OnePlus phones. And firstly, about the great things about this phone, well, they are the design and build, display and performance. And in that, if you take a look at the design and build quality, well, this is a well-built phone which has a neat and attractive design for a bar type phone. The phone's dimensions, even though it's on the bigger side, is still manageable because the thickness is 8.4 mm and the weight is also on the moderately lighter side, weighing 188 grams. Now here the highlight is that the front and rear is of the normal premium phone material choice, which is glass, and to be specific, it's Gorilla Glass 5. And here the phone has held up well, even though the color we have as a gloss finish back glass, and it attracts a lot of fingerprints. And also the frame of the phone is aluminium, which is something that's always great. And like all other OnePlus phones, here the button quality is excellent, and you also get the firm and very functional mute-unmute slider, and even the only port available, which is USB-C, is still working fine. And also this rear camera design, which is this rectangle module type towards the corner, is attractive too. And overall, I do like this design, and also the color choices provided by OnePlus. And in the similar manner, the display provided is also pretty great for the price. This is a 6.55-inch AMOLED panel which has 120Hz refresh rate, and this Full HD panel is a good quality one. Colors are sharp and punchy, and there isn't any noticeable tint effect, and even the corners and punch hole, they are all precisely done, so the overall display experience is something that deserves the hype for the price. And here even the peak brightness the display can max out is more than enough for outdoor use. And also the main highlight, which is the faster refresh rate, is the biggest advantage. I feel every manufacturer should now shift to this higher refresh rate display because this is, to be frank, a feature that overall improves the user experience. And talking about user experience, well, that's a place where OnePlus always shines, and here this phone is no exception. The processor powering the OnePlus 8T is the Snapdragon 865, and here the RAM options are 8GB or 12GB, and about the storage, it can be 128GB or 256GB, which are UFS 3.1 storage, and as always, this storage is non-expandable. So here the specs are very impressive, and because of that, the experience is also the best. Everything is smooth with no lag or hiccup, and that's applicable for all types of tasks. So let it be a day-to-day stuff or gaming or something else, well, this phone is not gonna disappoint you. The RAM management is also something that's good with approx 8 apps staying open in memory, and here the variant I'm talking about is the 8GB RAM one. And with this, the phone's great stuff almost comes to an end. Now the charging speed is also something that's exceptional with this phone because here the charger given is a 65-watt one, and hence the phone can be fully charged from 0% in under 40 minutes. So that's something that's always a big plus, but here while charging, the phone does get warm a bit more than even while doing some intense task. And also like always, this phone doesn't support wireless charging, and there is no official IP rating. And here now moving to the not so great stuff or things that are not very good for the price, well, in that, the first thing is the camera system. Now this is a 40,000 plus rupees phone, and when you're in that spot, well, you're competing against some of the best camera phones, in which some are even cheaper than this phone. And that's why I feel this camera system is not a very good one in the segment. There are plenty of cameras available on the rear, in which the main sensor is a 14 megapixel f1.7 aperture one, which has optical image stabilization and electronic image stabilization. And here the shots taken with this camera is sharp with good dynamic range and also accurate colors if there is proper lighting. Now when the light dims, the shots are still more than usable, and here the main camera is not something to complain about, even though the focusing might sometimes be an issue. And that's the same thing with the next camera too, except that there isn't any focusing trouble, and this camera is a 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera whose aperture is f2.2. And your shots from this camera is also good if there is again plenty of light, and in dull lighting, the shots from this camera are not very usable. And about the last two cameras, well, I would like to term them as marketing factors. There is a 5 megapixel macro camera which has difficulty in focusing, and the last 2 megapixel monochrome lens is basically of no use. And about the videos captured, well, you can record 4K 60 FPS videos, and overall the videos looks good. But then while comparing with the competition I was talking about, which for example the iPhone XR, well, that phone's camera does record better video than this. And now moving to the front camera, well, it's a 16 megapixel f2.4 aperture camera, and this one does capture really good and sharp selfies. There isn't any issues with skin tone or sharpness, and I do like the selfies this camera captures. But then about videos, well, it's good, and here the max resolution supported is 1080p at 30 fps, but then there is a bit of softness to the videos captured. So this is the overall camera situation, and here from all this, well, one thing that's clear is that this is what OnePlus usually does, and here there isn't any change. Then moving on to the battery backup, well, firstly the total battery capacity of this phone is 4500 mAh, and here while using it with a pretty heavy usage style, which is by leaving the 120Hz refresh rate on and also keeping brightness mostly in the 50% or above range, well, the screen on time I was getting was approximately 5 hours 30 minutes. So that's on the good side, but again not on the great side. And one thing I missed in the great side about this phone is its unlocking method, which is fingerprint unlock. And this is an in-display fingerprint scanner which is very fast and accurate. But then these are the usual OnePlus stuff, and I feel while checking all this, well, if you compare this phone with the OnePlus 70, well, there isn't much improvements, and at places like the camera system, I feel the 70 was better. And also now OnePlus has moved away from its pure stock Android experience with the new Oxygen 11, which is based on Android 11. But here at present, even though there is this touch of the Samsung's One UI format, well, to be frank, it's not bad like some other Android skins. But that said, OnePlus has already mentioned about the fact that things are gonna be more of the Oppo style in future, so the software thing for future is something to keep note of. And also the OnePlus 80's pricing is much more than the old OnePlus phones like the 70, and here as you can see, the base variant starts at approx 43,000 rupees, and the top variant's pricing is approx 46,000 rupees. And this has been the trend with OnePlus right now, and maybe as an excuse, well, 5G support can be the reason behind the price hike, but at present in India we don't have 5G support and we are not sure when it will happen. But here I won't corner OnePlus because Snapdragon 865 has inbuilt 5G support, so that's not something OnePlus can skip to reduce the price, and getting such kind of a support is like future proofing if you think in that way. Then about the speakers used here, well, it's a dual speaker setup and the sound output from it is more than good with proper clarity and enough loudness, and also the earpiece is good for calls too. And lastly, the phone's Bluetooth version is 5.1 and the Wi-Fi version is 6, and also there is NFC support, and even about the sensors, well, we get all the needed ones. So that's everything about the OnePlus 80, and here from all this, even though this is a great phone, right now if you're planning to buy this, well, you surely need to think a lot, because like I said in the beginning, for the price it's selling, it's not like an exceptional must-have phone, nor it's like a king in the segment. And given the fact that the new OnePlus phones will be launching in maybe a month or so, will make this phone either a discontinued model or a cheaper option. That's up for this video, guys. Hope you liked it. If so, a like is much appreciated, and a sub to the channel will be awesome. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.